What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle Pancis. If it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If not, thanks for continued support. Today we are going to be replacing yet another electronic component of this car. If the title of the video didn't give it away, we are going to be replacing the ABS pump because we have all of these lights on. And all of these lights are different than the module because we don't have a check engine light and we're getting speed read on our car. So that is one of the reasons. And the other sign is when I went and scanned the car with the Tech 2, the code that we are getting, let me pull up the picture here since I did it the other day. Hold on. The code we are getting is C2465, pump motor incorrect. So that tells me that the ABS pump is bad, so we are going to just go ahead and pull that out. So let's hop into it. Alright, so to give you guys an update where I'm at, this is a bracket here that kind of holds the module, the whole ABS assembly in place. So what I'm doing is looking at how to just remove the bracket. So it looks like there's a 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter here, and a 10 millimeter down in there. So I'm gonna try to work on pulling this thing out, and then hopefully that loosens up the entire assembly to come out, and then I'll put the assembly. This is a bracket that holds the module in place. So once I pull that out with the brake lines off, it appears that here is where the bracket kind of pushes into on both sides here, 1 and 2. So it's a good thing we have this as a reference point to show you guys what's going on, because obviously it's tough to get an angle in here. So so 1, 2, and then I think there's a third bolt back in there for the 10 millimeter to actually loosen up this entire bracket assembly. And then we'll cautiously move it to get the brake lines out of the way. That's when the things will start to become a little bit of a mess. So this is the used pump that I just got off of eBay. This came with a module, so if anybody will need an ABS module and have it programmed to their car and marry it, this will be for sale. Just send me an email. My email is in the description, or you guys can comment below with your email. I'll try to reach out to you, or you can hit me up on Instagram. This will be for sale. I don't know what the price is going to be yet, but I will let you know. But over here on the right side is the pump on the bottom, and then obviously this car came from a salvage yard, so they just kind of clipped the brake lines. But these are 11 millimeters to unwrench. These are all the brake lines. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brake lines, which makes sense because you got 4 to each wheel, and then you got a return and a feed line, most likely here for fresh fluid, however that works. So anyways, this is the new pump, and it lives right here on the car. So there is a bracket that holds it in, and so what we're gonna do is remove all of this to get the module disconnected and out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and start to remove the actual pump and the brake lines, which, like I said, is pretty easy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 2 on the back side, and we'll go ahead and yank this thing out. Pretty straightforward, right, guys? I think it's pretty straightforward. I saw nothing out there on this except for the module. And if you guys haven't been following this car, we did the ABS module a year and a half ago when it failed, and we got it repaired. I know some of you guys have been reaching out to me. I don't know the company that I used has now gone out of business since all the stuff that's going on in the world. But so I don't know what company out there. You'd have to do some Googling to find a company that's still in business to rebuild your module, or you can do it yourself. It's just the circuit breaker on the circuit board. If you guys are techie enough to do that, I'm not. I'd rather just pay somebody 150 bucks to repair the circuit board. But that's all it is, just some soldering points that go bad, which fails the module, right? So not a big deal, but in this case, we've done the module and now the pump has failed. So we have 232,000 miles just about on this car, which means I need to do an oil change, but that's a different topic. And the pump has failed. So I don't know if that's a normal thing. Never experienced it before in my life, but yet this is the oldest Saab that I've ever owned. So maybe it's just a thing, maybe it's not just a thing, but you guys can drop your comments below. But anyways, let's hop into this. I'm gonna pull the battery out, move the fuse box, and then get into removing the 10mm bolts holding the bracket in and the 11mm nuts holding the brake lines in. So that's really the process here. And then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and drain and suck out the old brake fluid here, because once we disconnect the brake lines, at some point in the next 24 hours, somebody in my household is gonna help me bleed the brakes. So we're gonna have to bleed each brake's fresh fluid all the way around, which is not a bad thing because I've never changed the brake fluid on here, so I don't know how old it is. I know I've topped it off and whatever, so it'd be nice to have fresh brake fluid in the system. And hey, we've rebuilt everything else on this car, so might as well add another thing. Let's hop into it. All right, guys, got some really good news for you. So anyways, removed all the brake lines, and then everything just kind of lifted up, and then you unplug the harness that's in the back here. This goes to the pump. Okay, this harness here, just kind of normal press and squeeze. So here is the pump out, right? So this is our ABS module that we had rebuilt, and so we're going to transfer this over to this unit here with the T Torx bits, and then we'll reassemble everything. It's pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to actually look into seeing if this pump can be rebuilt and save it, because obviously there's no reason to throw it away if it can be saved. So anyway, so we're gonna go ahead now, and I'm just gonna drain out this fluid and try to make it less messy for myself. And then we'll just reassemble it into the car. The brackets that hold this into the bolt, nut and bolt that holds this into the bracket is pretty straightforward. It's just a rubber bushing that actually goes in there, and then it slides over the bracket itself. And then of course it goes, tightens down accordingly so it won't actually move. And then of course there's one down here, etc., etc. So I'm just going to quickly swap this over. I'll probably do it off camera, but there's 6 Torx bits that hold on the module. You guys have seen me do the module before, so I'll just link that above if you guys want to just replace your module and never seen that done before. But as for the pump, we're going to transfer this over to the new pump, eliminate the old brake lines that are in here, and reassemble this pretty quickly. Let's rock it out. All right, guys, so off camera, I just got everything back together here. It is the next day here, so let me turn the car on for the first time with you. See if these lights are off, and if we have, I don't think we're gonna have brake pressure. Oh yeah, no brake pressure. I gotta bleed the brakes. Let me see if we're leaking any fluid. I don't see anything leaking. Nope. We definitely need to figure out the brake situation. There's definitely air in the lines, and we definitely still have I'm gonna turn off the lights and see if they come back on. We might have a bad module. If that's the case, then we put a new pump in for no reason, and and obviously nothing's working at this point. I have no brake pressure at all. But that's probably because there's a lot of air in the lines, and we'll need to bleed them. But let's see. All right, guys. So I might have to leave you off on this. The pump is working. I cleared the code in the car, and before I cleared the code and I would roll the car, the light would turn right back on immediately. And this point, I cleared the code and I rolled the car back and forth, and no light has turned on. So I suspect that we did resolve the issue. Now the only thing is, before I bleed the brakes, there seems to be a little fluid pushing out through the threads on one of the brake lines. In fact, it's the easiest brake line to replace, thankfully. So if I do have to replace it, I don't have to go underneath the car. It's this small brake line that goes from the booster, from the pump area to the master cylinder. It's like a few inches long, so it's not too bad to replace if I need to. For some reason, I tighten it down and there's still fluids coming through the thread when you build pressure. So I suspect, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I did put some thread I did just put some thread locker in to see if that helps on the threads, and kind of let it dry overnight and just see if that fixes the situation that's going on. I don't know, because of the brake fluid eating away, if that affects the thread locker. Not sure, and I'm not sure as to why it's doing that, because I'm obviously tightening it down really tight, and it's actually to the point where I'm starting to strip the square blocks on the brake line. So if the thread locker doesn't work, which I'll find out tomorrow, I will probably have to just spend the 30 bucks and replace that line with a fresh line. You know, this is a 2004 and the ABS pump came off of a 2003, so different production years. It just doesn't make any sense to me, honestly, any of it, that it's leaking through the threads. But you know, it is what it is. And so I'll leave you off on that, but I figured I'd let you know that I did do the roll test. I don't know if I caught it on camera there, but the lights did stay off, and prior to replacing the pump, the lights would pop back on. So therefore, in my opinion, I suspect we resolved this issue, and overall, minus this little thread leak, the job was really easy. It should take like an hour and a half to knock this out if you're doing it yourself, if you have to. And then obviously you got to bleed the brake lines, so that's another half hour, 45 minutes there, and it should be all set. So that's the status here. I'm gonna probably end the video off on that here, because the rest of that, bleeding the brake lines and everything, is kind of just nothing to film. Just normal push the pedal down to the floor, let the brake fluid come out, and rinse and repeat a couple times on each wheel, get the fluid through, and yeah, we'll have all fresh brake fluid in there, a fresh pump, our module is working. So, you know, we put new brake lines on a couple years ago, so the entire braking system has been attended to for 231,000 miles. So we should hopefully be pretty set there on all of it. And so at this point, to wrap that up, the next video we can give an update on the car, so we can just kind of review everything we've done, let you guys know what it is in total, if I remember everything, but I suspect it is, and we'll go from there. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was not only entertaining but educational, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.